All right, this is the last video. The sun has set, so this is going to go pretty quick. And we're just going to draw the rest of the owl. If you don't know what that means, we're going from here to here. Going to be skipping over a lot of stuff, cheating, it's okay. So what exactly are we going to do? Now we know how to render stuff using OpenGL. I am particularly interested in rendering stuff on a map. So now how do we make a nice usable map? We use Mapbox, we use a library. It doesn't have to be Mapbox, it could be MapLibre, Deck, Kepler, whatever you want, doesn't matter. The first thing you're going to do is, if you want to go the Mapbox route, log into Mapbox, or sign up for Mapbox, get an API key. API keys are free, you get tons of stuff before it costs you money. So if you're just messing around, it's not going to cost you any money. Also, you can go with MapLibre, whatever you want to do. Mapbox has nice tile sets, nicely styled, which is why I like to use them. But plenty of other people do too. So now, how are we going to add Mapbox? I did all of this stuff off screen, so I'll just explain what I did. The first thing that we need to do is we need to bring the Mapbox library into our project. Because we're staying pretty vanilla here, we're just doing a script import in our HTML, and then we also need their CSS. So these two lines. Another thing you'll notice I did is we no longer have a canvas here, we have a button and a div. Mapbox wants a div. And the button is just so that I can click the button to update, as you saw. So now, how has main changed? Main has changed in that all we're going to do is we're going to add a map and add a click listener to that button to update the map and show our nice little WebGL stuff. Now, Mapbox, because we're using Mapbox, we are giving control over to Mapbox. So now we don't create the canvas, we don't own the WebGL context. We are just one small part of their system. So what that means is we are going to implement our own custom layer, and then they're going to call us at some point. And the things that we need to do is we need to add a method for what do we want to do when the layer is added, and then when the layer is rendered, what do we want to do? And then also add something to update the data. So here, this is, whenever we add the layer, what we want to do is we want to compile the shaders and set up our objects that we're going to use. So here we're setting up the vertex array object and we're setting up the buffer object, but we're not actually buffering any data. That will come later. So then when we click on update, what we're going to do is we're actually going to load the data. And here you can see we give vertices to the update method and we buffer those vertices. So this is what I mean earlier when I said most of the time we don't mess with the data, we just buffer it and then we use it. Because when we render, you'll notice we're not updating the data. The only thing that we're going to update is this matrix thing. So what is this matrix thing exactly? Let's kind of go through this line by line. So when we're going to render, you see here we have two layers here. We have the map that Mapbox is giving us, and then we have our stuff. So Mapbox is going to render its stuff, and then it's going to call our layer. And what we're going to do is we're going to say, okay, why don't we use the program that we compiled earlier, this these two shaders that have been compiled and linked. Mapbox is going to give us a matrix. We don't have to understand how this works. It's nice if you do, but Mapbox does it for you. And this is what's going to be called a uniform. Why is it a uniform? it is going to be the same across all vertices. So what we're doing is we're applying a transformation across all the vertices. How you apply a transformation, a matrix transformation to a vector, is you multiply it. So Mapbox gives us this thing, and the only thing we need to do is update this uniform, which is very little data. Then we bind our vertex array, and we draw the points. Very, very efficient. So now let's look at some of this other stuff. To make the map, we use our Mapbox key. We just specify some default configuration. One thing that's important here is we want a Mercator projection. The reason we want that is because we are also using Mapbox to transform our latlons into the Mercator projection so that it looks correct. And where we do that is right here. So here, where we were just loading latlons directly, now before we push them into our vertice data structure, we are going to transform them into that -1 to 1 space, and we're going to do it using the Mercator projection. Also, this math is not hard, but Mapbox gives it to us for free, so why not use it? And yeah, that's basically it. So again, the main things are we're giving Mapbox control. So we want to do static stuff like the initialization when we add. We only want to update data when we actually need to update data. And the rest of the time, we just want to render the data that we have on the GPU. And we get this nice, smooth scrolling. Mapbox handles all of the tiling and everything for you. So using this, you can render tons and tons of data on a nice looking map, and you don't have to do everything yourself.